Hello, and welcome to the second in our series of podcasts showcasing the Reform UK candidates for West Lancashire. We had Ella in this morning, and this afternoon we've got Rick Edwards. Rick, welcome.
Thank you. Pleased to be here.
Do you want to start off by telling me what ward you're standing for, first of all?
Yes, I'm the candidate for Burscough and Rufford.
Right.
So, obviously, a nice part of the West
It's a nice rural part of the...
Very much so, yes. Yeah, it's the growing land of England.
And who's got the council seat at the minute?
Well, our MP is Ashley Dalton.
All right, yes.
So I'm sure you've heard of her.
She's been in the news a bit recently, hasn't she?
Yes. Probably for all the wrong reasons, yes.
I have to say I feel some sympathy for her, because obviously what's happened is that she's been elevated into this health ministry position, and then some journalist has got, actually, and gone right back through her Twitter feed and everything, trying to find anything that they can throw at her. And as this has happened to a lot of Reform candidates in the last general election, so I do have a little bit of sympathy for her.
Yes. It's quite bizarre, really, because probably one of the reasons why I'm sat here today is because of when Ashley Dalton got elected. Prior to that, we were actually helping Simon Evans, and we sort of got involved with his campaign. And he sort of approached us, basically being myself and my wife, were constantly...
Sorry, is your wife standing as well?
No, she isn't actually, but she was always sort of actively criticising, shall we say, Ashley Dalton. And Simon obviously noticed and asked, were we part of any political... No, obviously. So that's how we sort of got involved in the first place with Reform. And then later Simon asked me would I stand, and I thought, well, why not? You know, I'm probably just as sick as everybody else of what's going on. And I realised a long time ago, you can't be king of the mountain on your own. And the best way of fighting is from within. So here I am.
Well, I think a lot of people have begun to realise that. I certainly have, in terms of what's going on in our council. And what it's made me realise is that there's nothing you can do unless you have power. Absolutely. And the only way you get power is through the ballot box.
Yes.
And that's such a valuable lesson once you know that.
Yes, absolutely, yes. Yeah.
So were you helping Simon with his campaign in the general election?
Yes, that's how we started. Because obviously there was no sort of councillors standing at that stage, no. So there was only the area, and that was down to Simon, yes.
Yeah, I mean, Zia Youssef has in his part of his modernisation of the party, he's realised how powerful it is to have local people elected at local level, and he's looked at the way the Lib Dems have operated for years, whereby they have got into a council, established themselves, begun to do things, tell everybody when they find out when the potholes are going to be filled, and then they go and ask somebody would they like the potholes filled, that sort of thing.
Yes. I think one of the things that the Lib Dems do very well is campaign, and I think we need to take a lesson from that to make the sort of people aware that we are their voice,
yes.
And we will fight for them, because obviously this is our area, we live here, so we see what you see, and we need to stop that. Because a lot of it's been going on for years and years and years, really, and nobody's ever done anything about it.
No.
So it's about time that somebody did.
Now, I was saying this morning that because the local elections generally have such a low turnout, that what happens in effect is there's no democratic control on the councils at all. That what happens is that the same ones just get in time after time after time, and some people can be on the council for 20 or 30 years. And be useless all the time they're there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, in our area, to be honest with you, I think our particular sort of area is very winnable. The sort of dark cloud for us has always been Skelmersdale. Skelmersdale.
That's a very working class Labour area.
Yes, historically a Labour sort of electorate, and very little change really. And I think that was one of the reasons why Ashley Dalton, having failed in other sort of positions, was given Skelmersdale area effectively because it was more or less.
Well, you have to be careful what you wish for, because one of the things that I've been realising since the election really, is that in many cases it's the Labour strongholds that are more vulnerable to reform than the Conservative areas. Yes,
I think you're right. I think generally across the country there's the mood for change, definitely. Yeah, and obviously the Labour Party, or anybody who's actually switched on as to what's going on, is obviously thinking now that maybe we made a bad choice here.
There's a lot of people thinking we made a bad choice.
Absolutely, yes. And it seems to be every day they sort of shoot themselves in the foot and go further and further. And, I think one of the problems is, even now, it's got to the stage where there's likely to be a sort of big reshuffle. Who's going to replace these people? There's just nobody.
No, it's very sad. I mean, the quality of we've said this time and time again, the quality of the people in politics at the moment is absolutely desperate.
Yes.
And, you'd just be replacing somebody who's bad with somebody who's worse.
Yes.
And that's a huge problem.
Yes. And I think what's refreshing as well about the UK reform is the fact that there's sort of new blood coming into it. I mean, look, Ellis, who you'll be speaking to shortly, 24 years of age, when normally politicians or people who get involved in politics are career politicians, or they're thinking about it from the start, where none of us were ever politically minded. We only got involved simply because, we're just...
Well, you had to. Yeah, that's right. That's where I was last year. So let's talk a little bit about yourself. Do you work?
Sort of, yeah. I'm sort of semi-retired now.
What did you do?
Well, I'm actually involved in property, commercial property. So I manage that sort of business still. But obviously it's not hugely time consuming, so it gives me the opportunity to step back and
but still keep your hand
do something. But well, I have to, but yes. Keep control of the empire, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And supposing you were elected to, it was Burscough
and Rufford.
That's the council?
Yes.
Yeah. Supposing you were elected to the council, you get there, what are you going to do?
Try and change all the things that I can see are wrong with it.
Which are what?
Well, obviously, we are a big farming community. A lot of produce is grown locally. So we're obviously fighting for the farmers because that's something...
And I don't suppose the farmers are too happy with Labour at the minute?
Absolutely not. And I speak to...
Is it mainly Labour councillors that you're...
Well, it has been, yes. So we're sort of... We're fighting the same battle with the same people all the time, really. And generally, I think there is a lot of
appetite for change.
Yeah, definitely appetite for change. Yes, yeah. I mean, I have farming friends, and they're asking the same questions, voicing the same opinions, and they're seeing the same problems. And it's definitely time for a change.
And I believe that you've been allocated some resources to run a campaign.
Yes, fortunately, Simon established quite a good contact
Yes.
who sort of made a big proportion financially of the campaign during the general election. And I think that will sort of continue, although we do have some ideas of to sort of generate.
Well, this is it. People don't appreciate you do need to have some money to run an election campaign.
Yes. Well, I think one of the things that we would like to do as well is sort of draw the people's attention by involving them. So we twofold really. We would aim to put on social events which draws the public in. They can obviously ask all the questions. We will sort of present our side of the thing at those venues and give them a bit of fun and entertainment and get people involved, because I don't think that's ever existed in politics. You know, there's usually a sort of door and you can approach it, but you can never go through it and you can never ask the right questions. I think our policy is definitely going to be the door is open and you tell me what you want and I will do my best. If I consider it worthy, of course, I'll support it in every way, shape possible, you know.
And have you had support from I mean, you've obviously never run for council before.
No.
Have you had help and support from the party in terms of how you go about it, what training you need?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, Simon's been a sort of big part in sort of bringing everybody together. So we quite soon after the general election, this idea of splitting the place up, dividing it into the local councils, getting the councillors together. And that was acted upon very, very quickly. So very quickly we established a group of people that were wanting to do this, and we've had regular meetings, and we're constantly in touch. We obviously have a sort of group with constant communication on a daily basis, covering all the aspects of what's going on. And we're all there to support each other as well. So when it comes down to leaflet drops, banging on doors, we'll be there to aid each other.
It's more fun not doing it on your own, I found.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, I could tell you some funny stories that happened during the general election, banging on doors, but I'm sure we've all heard them.
So do you see Reform's role, supposing we get some councillors on your council, do you see Reform's role to a certain extent as being a disruptor? In other words, trying to break the kind of cosy relationships that there currently are on the council?
Absolutely, yeah.
Shake it up a bit.
Yes, I genuinely think that, you know, enough pressure needs to be applied to stop what's going on. And I think if there's enough of us, and it's the same whole thing, numbers are big power. The more people that get elected, the more power we'll get.
Good. Well, look, thanks very much indeed for putting your head above the parapet. It's not. No, it's not. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's not for everyone, and not everyone wants to do it. But we do desperately need good people to do that. And from what I've seen of you, I think you fit the bill. And I wish you every luck and success in getting a role in the council in May. Sorry, in June. June, yeah.
Well, yeah, May.
Sorry, May. I was right the first time. Good. Thanks very much indeed for coming.
Okay, thank you.